Hello everyone and welcome to my EVE Online Planetary Interaction Guide. This is more of an insight and to show everyone else how I do planetary interaction and how it nets me a healthy amount of passive risk every month. If done right, this can be very profitable if you have a number of characters doing it all at the same time. Where I tend to do my PI is always nullsec. Nullsec systems have a much better quality of planets on offer. When I mean quality, the amount of resources on that planet. The more resources on a planet means the more that can be extracted in one go and therefore higher profits. As you can see, a comparison from a nullsec planet I have on the left here to a high-sec planet, there's big differences in the resources amount. So if you can get into a nullsec environment, then I would always advise to do your PI in a nullsec system. But sometimes it's not always the case, and you will be tied down to high sec if you don't like the nullsec. I'm currently in an alliance in nullsec, so it's perfect for me. I live in nullsec. We'll cover the skills that you need for planetary interaction, and the main ones are command center upgrades, which I have trained fully to level 5. This basically, each level improves the quality of command facility available to you, in turn allowing for a greater number of connected facilities. Basically, your command center has a power grid and CPU, just like your ships in EVE, and the higher the level, the more power grid and CPU you have. Therefore, the more installations you can have on a planet, which means, and also more extractor pins, which I'll cover later, which means faster production of planetary products. Moving on to interplanetary consolidation. Okay, each level of this basically increases the amount of planets you can have. So even if this skill is not trained at all, you can have one planet. At level 5 you can have a maximum of 6 planets. Planetology is basically the scan resolution on a planet. I'll show you in the solar system what I mean by the scan resolution. So basically the hotspots on the planet. The greater your level, the more accurate this data is. Okay, it's not that important really. As long as you can get it. I've got mine on level 4, but level 3, level 2 is fine. You can get that skill up in no time. But it's just higher accurate data, more accurate data on the planet, so you can see where the hotspots are. And remote sensing, basically, the higher level, the more distance you can scan planets. So level 1 allows for scans within 1 light year, so you can do planet scouting from inside the station, just looking at the map and looking at solar systems for planets. So the higher level, the more further away you can do that. A skill that would be very useful if you are going to do planetary interaction in high sec would be customs code excise, I believe. Let me just have a quick look. And I believe it's under social. No, it's not under social. Trade. That's it. Customs code expertise. If you're going to be doing high sec PI, this is a skill that you would want to train up to level 5, because the taxes on a high sec system will be quite high. Here in nullsec, taxes tend to be very little. It depends on who controls the customs centre, basically where your goods are going to be passing through. Out in nullsec, it's all at low 5%, but in high sec, you're going to be dealing with the NPC empires. So this skill, the higher the skill, the less taxes you'll pay. Moving on, I'm going to show you how I'm going to set up my planetary infrastructure on the first planet we've scouted, that being the lava planet. But first things first, I'm going to show the ship which I use for my planetary interaction, and that's the current ship I've got right before you, the Epiphal. The Epiphal is a Galanti industrial ship, and it's dedicated to planetary interaction. If I can look at the attributes here, I've trained my Galanti industrial skill to level 2 only, and already I have 54,000 cubic meters of cargo hold space, which is dedicated to planetary commodities only. You can't put anything else into this planetary commodities hold. As each skill, you can increase that by 10% if you train your Galanti industrial skill higher, so you can get even more cargo hold space dedicated to planetary commodities. But setting up planets is what we're going to be doing, and that needs at least 1,000 cubic meters of cargo hold space. So on the ship I've had to fit some cargo expanders, because you need to fit a lava command center. Okay, command centers are all 1,000 cubic meters, and any ship can lay these command centers. It doesn't have to be this ship. It's basically, as long as the ship has got over 1,000 cubic meters in its ordinary cargo hold, not the planetary commodities, just an ordinary cargo hold. Now, to set the command center up, all you have to do, you have to be in the same solar system and to be in space. That's all we have to do. So we're going to do that now. You can do this just by undocking and doing it right by the station. You haven't got to fly to the planet. You haven't got to do anything really. Just undock and go into the solar system's information panel and view the lava planet we scouted in planet mode. And as you can see, the command center option here is now available. It's not greyed out like the others. And click on command center. Now, it doesn't matter where you put your command center on a planet, but I like to put it where I set up my installations, just because I like to keep things neat. I've got a bit of OCD. But looking at this, we can look at some hotspots here, because resources over time, depending on the amount of people on the planet, resources move around on the planet. So this hotspot in a week's time won't be there anymore. It'll be, somewhere else. It'll be on the other side of the planet. Resources all move around dependent on who's pulling what types of materials and the amount they're pulling. So all you have to do is click to drop your command center, and it's now there. And click submit. That command center has now been built on the planet. And the first things first, I would always go to your command center, go to the upgrades option, and to upgrade your command center to the highest option available to you, so you can start putting installations down. Okay, that gives me a much higher power output and CPU. So that costs about 6 million to upgrade, but it's worth it in the long run. And just hit upgrade and submit. Okay, first things first, we want to build an extractor control unit. So hit the extractor control unit option and scan button to see where the resources are. And now I've got a radius, this bubble, which gives me the range of where I can put pins out on the planet. I want to cover these two hotspots here, so this looks like a good spot to drop it. You have to build this and click submit, otherwise you can't put any pins out. Click on the extractor control unit, and we want to survey for deposits now, so we'll select our product that we want, which would then lead to our robotics production, which is non-CS crystals, and each one of these circles puts out a extractor pinhead. I want the full 10. You can have a maximum of 10, and you can freely move these around the planet. I want to cover this hotspot here. And another thing to note would be how long you want those extractor pins to extract for. At the moment they're on 1 hour, so for 1 hour they'll extract a full 90,000 units, but I don't really want to be coming back to my computer every hour to log on to Eve to reset these pins. So therefore you can put a timer on it. And when you increase the timer, it also increases the radius of these pins, as you just see them increase there as I went to 22 hours. And if I was to go a full 11 days, that's a massive radius, and then they start to interfere with each other and they start to get negatives. Therefore it actually hinder the extraction process. I think for me, I tend to leave my timers at 15 hours, which is a good sort of time, and I move them around to cover the hotspots. Once that's done, you can install your program, and that will now extract the commodities, the raw materials. But it won't do it yet because we're still in the build mode. Each resource extraction cycle takes about 15 minutes. But we're in no rush because nothing's being extracted at the moment because we're in edit mode. Now what I like to do is build a storage facility where the materials go to. And the storage facility has quite a bit of storage space for any overflow from the launch pad which we've just built here. The launch pad will allow us to extract our goods to the Planetary commodities office, so we can then put it in our cargo hold. So now we want to put down some processors. These processors are going to turn our raw materials that are going to be extracted, the non-CS crystals, and to turn them into a P1 material, a process material, and that being a chiral structure. So let's place some processors down. I tend to do them in groups of 3. I want to put as maximum amount of processors down as I can, because the more processors I've got, the more quicker I can turn the raw materials into planetary commodities. And the quicker I do that, the quicker I can make ISK. I don't really want another extractor control unit to put more pins at, because I believe I've got enough. I've got a full 10 here. Every time I put down the processors, it uses quite a bit of power grid. So if you have command center that's level 3, level 4, you're not going to put as many processors down as me, because I have much more power grid and CPU to play with, because my command center is level 5. And see if I can put this one down. No. But anyway, that's okay, because once you put down your processors, you want to put some links down. Now everything has to be linked to each other so the goods can move around. And it's very simple, of just clicking the link button and just linking them, linking the processors up. Once that's done, you're going to have to, this is a very tedious bit now, where all the mouse clicking comes into it. You have to select one of your process units and hit schematics. Okay, and here it gives us a list of all the schematics available to us that we can build. Because we're extracting non-CS crystals, we'll have to build chiral structures, because that's what it turns into. So for every installation, you're going to have to select the chiral structures schematic for it to work. And once that's done, you've been given this option here: the amount and the type chiral structures, but not routed. That means that the product is going nowhere. And if I was to build this now, and let's say if this was to produce 20 chiral structures, it would just get wasted. It wouldn't go anywhere, because it's not routed. So you need to make sure that these are going somewhere, otherwise it would just be a waste. So double click and hit where you want them to go. I want them to go straight to my launch pad so they can be launched when they're ready to be shipped. So double click on the launch pad, and now that is now routed to the launch pad. So automatically, when 20 child structures are produced, they will be moved to the launch pad without any intervention from me. That's all done automatically now. You have to do this same process for the rest of your processors, which can be very tedious. So for the purposes of the video, I'm going to, I'm just going to do it all so you don't have to see this process. Looking back at our extractor control unit, if we look under products, the resources that are being extracted are not being routed. Like I mentioned before, with the processors, unless this is routed to a storage facility, it will be going to waste. So double click to move these CS crystals once they're extracted, and I like to have mine go to the central warehouse storage facility which I've got, because any overspill can just build up in this storage facility, and the processors can chip away at it. Once they finish their runs of their schematic, they can obviously pick up some more. So that now has been routed, so the resources will now automatically go to the storage facility. Once that's complete, your storage facility will look like something like this, with all the outgoing resources going to the processors. I'm now going to go to my other planets and set up this infrastructure on them. I'm going to go to my ice planet to extract heavy metals, storm for base metals, and plasma for noble metals. And once I've done that, I will show you what to do with all the products that have been extracted and refined, and what to do with them. I've finished setting up my 4 extraction planets, and from those planets I've got my finished P1 processed commodities in my cargo hold ready to go. So let's undock and I'll show you the manufacturing planet I built while the video was paused. Here we are. Now I'm just going to go warp to this planet.
Warp drive active.
So here we are. With manufacturing planets, if you're going to build, go beyond P3 products into P4, I have to let you know that P4 requires high-tech production plants. And high-tech production plants can only be built on barren and temperate planets. But that's not an issue for us, as we only need the advanced industry facility, and as you can see, I have a number of them dotted around my planet. So what this side takes care of is consumer electronics. So toxic metals and chiral structures, once they get brought onto the planet, will go to these extractors, these processors. And on this side, these processors, they build mechanical parts. And mechanical parts requires an input of 40 precious metals and 40 reactive metals. So mechanical parts from this side, consumer electronics from this side, they both are getting sent to this central warehouse here, and from there they get sent onwards to these processing plants down here. Now these processing plants are going to be producing robotics, and they require an input of 10 mechanical parts and 10 consumer electronics, and they output 3 units of robotics, which then get sent to the central warehouse, where I stockpile them once I've got about 500-600, and I then pull them off the planet. I've got quite a lot of storage on this planet, as I need to, because when I'm going to be coming down here, I'm going to be doing it with a full cargo hold, not what I've got here. This is just an example. So what we do, we walked to the customs office of the manufacturing planet, and you need to access the customs office, bring up the menu there, and put all your planetary commodities into the inventory of the planetary commodities office, and then simply just drag and drop them over to the launch pad that you have on the planet surface and transfer. Once that's complete, go back into view planet mode, and you can see the processed materials are here in storage, ready to go. Now what I'm going to do is simply, like we've done before, set up some routes so they can go to the respective processing plants and then be processed. So tribal structures, that's going to be eventually turned into consumer electronics, so they need to go into this left bit here. So double click and double click on that. As you can see, this processor, the left bit of it is now solid orange. That means that it now has the required input materials for the tribal structures. It just needs the other half, and the other half to build consumer electronics is toxic metals. So select toxic metals, double click and double click on that there, and now that's ready to go. I'll do the same with the mechanical parts, which require precious metals and reactive metals. And that's it. Simply click submit. Once that has run, which will take approximately 1 hour to complete, the products will then be routed to here, as I said before, and then from there these processors use the materials there to turn them into robotics, and that's it. It's simple as that. That's pretty much it for this EVE Online Planetary Interaction Guide. If you found the video useful and learnt something new, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you think there's anything else that I can make better and to improve on my current setup, please let me know about it in the comments below. Otherwise, have a good day, and thanks for watching.